Hello, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's your boy Iz33. Welcome back to another episode of the Anarchy analysis matches of the week. We're covering this PSG versus Unicorns of Love matchup, where these two teams are vying for that first place in the group stages of play-ins, and the winner of this matchup goes straight into the world's group stages, while the loser faces the third place team or the fourth place team in Group A. The winner of that matchup, obviously, in the play-ins knockout stages. Now, as a whole, this is going to be very interesting to see who faces who in their matchups. And as a whole, these two teams have looked fairly decent in terms of their positioning this weekend, as one of these teams has actually been the surprise factor of this tournament so far in PSG Talon. And the interesting thing about them is they're playing with 3 subs, and 3 subs as a whole is not something that you see too much in Worlds. But obviously with the restrictions on travel for the players and obviously the quarantine effect of COVID, that's the kind of reason why we're seeing these players playing for PSG. And as for Unicorns of Love, they've only technically lost 3 times this year so far. 2 of them losses have come from Worlds. The rest of the year, they've actually... one of their losses has come from Worlds before this game. The other 2 losses came from the regular split. Anyway, we load into Champion Select right now. Unicorns of Love are on blue. PSG are on red. Bands-wise, we've already seen Yawn removed. I'd expect the Lilia, the Hekarims, the Nidalee, or picks along those lines getting removed off the board by either team. But Unicorns of Love banning out these strong... tanky top laners. They're not allowing a safe pick for Hanabi in that top lane. And PSG side of things, they're not giving Akahik any sort of strong junglers here. And that is a big thing in my opinion, because you need a strong jungler, as do PSG. So removing these options is quite good. Now, the last 2 bans, the Camille and the Graves, come through, and the first pick, Renekton, is locked in for the Unicorns of Love. I love this pick as a whole because it's very strong. It's a strong blind pickable top. The response, though, is the Orianna and the Senna. That makes slightly more sense. Obviously, there is some other powerful pick. ADC's still open. Caitlyn technically is. Ashe as well. Jhin. Big picks there, but they go towards the Senna, which was nerfed patches before the Worlds patch that they're playing on right now. So it's intriguing me to see how the PSG team go into this game. Now, obviously, you'd expect the Orianna to be paired alongside a Hecarim, but the Unicorns of Love steal the Hecarim pick and they go with the Ziggs. That's actually quite interesting to me. Ziggs is a pick that you don't normally see too much in any sort of competitive play, but it is sort of the new and improved Caitlyn. It has the same sort of sieging power that she does, obviously with the satchel charge being able to destroy turrets below a quad of HP, and having that power to do that means that he's going to be killing turrets quite quickly through the game. And it makes him very threatening because he also has very good wave clear with his bombs and his actual abilities. Now, Lilia is the last lock-in for PSG in this phase 1. That makes a lot of sense to me. It obviously slipped through the bans in the first phase, so that is a huge pick for PSG because she can scale up quite nicely. However, it's not the best thing because obviously you're pairing an AP jungler with an AP mid laner, and you'd expect to get something as an AD champion between them two. But we get this double AP champion setup for PSG, which is going to be intriguing because you'd expect now for an AD top laner from PSG. As for Unicorns of Love, they realistically need a strong ADC, or technically mid, because Ziggs can be transitioned down to the ADC role for Gadget, and he is the sort of guy to go for an AP champion. He's already rocked this tournament, the Orianna, and that was very, very powerful, as well as the Swain. You keep forgetting about that one. Now, looking through these bans for the second phase, a lot of support bans coming through. Nautilus, the Leona, and the Alistar all targeted at the supports, leaving realistically a Blitz, a Bard, maybe even going towards a Shen. That technically could come out in the bot lane, it wouldn't be a surprise, but as you can see, the Rakan and the Bard are the two champions locked in for each team. Rakan on PSG's side, and yes, it doesn't provide the same sort of use as Rakan, but Rakan plus Senna is still very decent. You've got a lot of engage tools there with the Senna Snare from the W. You've also got the Grand Entrance from Rakan, and the quickness to charm up all targets is very powerful. However, Unicorns of Love have just finished out their draft right now with the Bard pickup and the Ezreal to finish out their draft. It's realistically, it's safe. They've got a lot of safety there. You've got the Magical Journey to get people out. You've got Ezreal's Arcane Shift to basically equivalent a Flash. And realistically, he's going to be very safe farming against Asana. Now, the last pick for PSG, I'd love to see that GP coming through to give the lineup for them a bit more AD efficiency. Obviously, with the double AP jungle and mid, it's very nice to obviously go for something AD fully in the top lane. However, you look at the entire PSG squad, it's very, very squishy. You've obviously not got that much health there, and with a Hecarim on the Unicorns of Love side of things, he's going to be looking to just run through that PSG lineup, get into the backline, and pull them down to the earth and kill them off with maybe an onslaught of shadows. That being said, the two drafts are done. I'm going to have a nice little bit of time waiting for the players to get into the game and make sure their settings are correct. Obviously, we'll see a last minute words from the coaches coming through as they go to give each other maybe a fist bump here. Will it be a fist bump? Yes, two coaches. Fist bump and a thumbs up coming out from the coach of PSG. This guy has actually done very good for his team in the drafts throughout this tournament. As for Sheepy, he's also in the same vein of things, looking extremely dapper in that Chinese sort of dress wear there. It looks very nice on him. Anyway, let us go through the last few words about these two drafts. So, Unicorns of Love drafted quite heavily in terms of engage with the Hecarim and look to obviously burst them down. As for the side of PSG, they've got a very nice draft. I like the Ori and the Lilia combination because you can stick the ball on top of the Lilia, and with the movement speed she gets from her passive, the Lilia can just run straight through the backline. Boom, easy shockwave, and that's a load of kills for this Uni Boys Orianna. Now, these drafts are quite aggressive, I would say, in terms of they want a team fight here. And with how the previous game went with the Unicorns of Love, I do believe picking up the victory against PSG, it's going to be very interesting to see if PSG can bounce back from that loss to them. So, two teams ready and round to go as we load onto the Rift for game number 1. We already see the support roaming out towards this bottom half of the map, and it's interesting to note here that we're actually seeing Hecarim immediately start with the sweeper, which usually means that he's looking for a pre-placed ward to go for an invade here. And instead of actually starting with his ward, placing that down, recalling, picking up a sweeper, as we may see the Rakan do, which he's actually done. He's placed a ward on the bottom half of the map and has recalled. Is it that sort of thing you do? You go back to base, recall, pick up a sweeper, look for the extra gold, and what we see there is Unicorns of Love getting 3 champions the XP from that ward, with the Hecarim, the Ziggs, and this Renekton all picking up ward experience. And you're probably wondering, what's the importance of that? Well, after wave 1, these champions will hit level 2. That is a huge thing for Ziggs and Renekton. It means that they get the early lane advantage. And you look at the itemization for the Ezreal and the Rakan, I do believe they've also switched over to a sweeper. There we go. So Ezreal also placed a ward in that brush down in the bottom river. And that essentially means that he's going to be starting with sweeper, which will probably switch over to blue trinket, and nonetheless, that is very powerful. Now it's time for our quick check-in on ruins, like I usually do, and it's going to be Phase Rush Ziggs. It might as well start with it as it was on screen. Very interesting. It's not Comet or maybe even Summoner Eerie. Something that's built for harass. Instead, it's a Phase Rush. It makes sense to me, though I would have preferred maybe even a Comet, because you're going to have a lot of priority on this lane. So going for something that allows you to do that extra bit of chip damage to a champion would be quite nice against this Orianna, so that she can essentially not deal with you as often and is forced back to base quicker. So that's why you tend to go for a Comet on Ziggs. Maybe even Dark Harvest. Dark Harvest, though, has fallen out of favour with a lot of pros over the recent patches, as it isn't as strong as what it used to be. They nerfed the buff that you get from each of the souls that you pick up. Anyway, we're actually seeing invaded. Lily is forced to flash away from the Hecarim. The shielding, though, coming out from onto the Lilia from the Ori makes sure that she can stay around and challenge for her Raptor camp. Though Ziggs is here, the smite's coming out. There comes the flash, and there's the actual shielding. There we go. Protection onto that Lilia. She isn't going to be killed off, though we do see all of the junglers, summoners from either side being burnt to a crisp, as obviously the Ghost was used early by the Hecarim to get the extra attack damage in order to chase down the Lilia and possibly threaten her life. As for the Lilia, she burnt her flash and smite to get the health back and stay safe. Though, obviously, with the Hecarim pathing up to the top side, it means that Lilia can roam down to the bottom half, get that Scuttle Crab down there, and make sure her bot lane stays safe. Obviously, into an Ezreal bad lane, the Senna and Rakan will have push, because they have the extra range, and they have the healing and sustain that the Ez and Bard do have technically, but it's very hard to obviously do, with the cooldown reduction that Senna gets on her Qs every time she uses ability. And we're going to enter a pause here, as before that we did see the Unicorns of Love flashing that Gambit icon. And that's always interesting, because Unicorns of Love were the team that actually knocked out Gambit and they basically won their region against them. Obviously, the Russian league is a very kind of hard league for Unicorns of Love, because Gambit are such a difficult team to beat, considering their legacy. And that legacy is slightly better than the one of Unicorns of Love, in terms of both having EULCS success, and Unicorns of Love haven't realistically made it into Worlds groups yet at all this year, or ever in their history, I do believe. They've always been relegated down in the play-ins. In the knockout stages, it's always against a team from Europe. It has been like Splice, I do believe, has done it to him. Maybe even Misfits did. Rockat could have. I forget who it was that did it to him before. But there's been teams that always stop the Unicorns of Love from succeeding as a team. And with their record being 3-1 here in this group, they've got a very good chance of actually making it out of the play-ins into the group stages if they win this game. that is a guarantee they go into groups. That is something they want. So this game means a lot to these teams as they avoid the best of fives and they avoid all of that danger. And I do believe we may be loading back into the game in a second. Obviously a quick fix was needed for one of the players and they experiencing a couple of issues. So without further ado, let us load back into the Rift, maybe? We might not. So what can we see so far? What have we seen? What are we expecting? That's a good point to go to right now. And realistically, I expect the Senna to scale up. She's got a better scaling than the Ezreal, who realistically hits an item power spike. Diaz hit at 2 items. Obviously, the Manamune and the Trinity Force or Iceborne Gauntlet is the route that Ezreals go towards as their big power spike. Senna hits hers after a Manamune and a couple of items. As mid lane, we're seeing an engage here. The Hecarim's running a bit too deep. This Lilia is jumping in, landing a lot of damage, but the Bard, he's roamed up before anyone on PSG can and gives the extra healing to the Hecarim, keeping him alive, and that's first blood over to Unicorns of Love. Top side, we're seeing a big engage here, and Hamandi is almost being killed off by Boss in that top side. He's going to be forced back to base, probably going to have TP as well, and Unicorns of Love pick up a 1.2k gold lead as we watch this play again. So Haik comes into mid lane, running at this Ori, and he just gets absolutely jumped on by the Lilia. However, the roam coming out from this Bard was unexpected for PSG, and Konyu basically faces his demise because the Hecarim can just turn around with the healing from the Bard and protection from the Guardian, just kills him off, and first blood over to the Ziggs. More importantly, that's going to make this Ori matchup a living hell for the Orianna, because she's going to be so far behind now, because Ori's into Ziggs, as I say, favors the Ziggs, because Ziggs can just clear the wave so much quicker than Ori can. Ori relies on moving the balls using a W to kill the wave. Ziggs can just throw out about 3 bombs, throw out his E, which the minefield just makes it very easy for him to kill the wave. And the satchel charge can also do work in killing it off. And with a blue buff, it's very easy for him to do that. So, as a whole, Ziggs should have full control of this lane. As you can see right now as we look at this lane, Ori is playing so far back because Ziggs can just clear the wave quite quickly. Obviously, with the Hecarim also showing and being spotted by the Lilia, it means that Ori will play respectful of a possible dive onto her. That being said, Hecarim isn't even level 6 yet, so she doesn't have to be too wary of the onslaught of Shadows engage. Just has to be careful of that charging from the E of the Hecarim, which obviously with Ghost being ready and available for him, that would be quite a quick engage for this Unicorns of Love side of the match. I think it's time we do a bit of an item check right now on each side of the map here. Top side, as we are seeing a nice tree shot barrage, bottom half of the map that does a lot of damage. No junglers down there, so there won't be any more engage. Anyway, let's focus on the top half of the map's itemization, as the possibility of an engage here comes in from the Lilia. She's hiding in the brush, ready to engage onto Renekton if he goes a bit too far. Though I don't think he will, but recall comes through as never mind, the Lilia lands a little lullaby onto this Renekton. The Dawning Shadow gets used as well. That is the lovely E from Lilia to knock down the Renekton, giving over a kill to this jungler. And with that, you'd expect maybe Unicorns of Love to respond somehow. Gonna have Hecarim clear out mid-wave as obviously the Ziggs TP top to try and respond to that play. And he gets the turret play maybe after a mini wave here. The Ziggs, obviously he'll clear this wave quite quickly. gonna just kill them with his things. And what do you know, Hecarim and Bard turning straight to this Rift Herald, gonna take this for themselves and possibly balloon the lead that this Ziggs has got for themselves. That's sort of the aim of the game here. If you are a Ziggs player at this stage, you want to get your lead even more. You're already the main power spike in your team with the 1 kill that you've already gotten. And Hecarim's going to pick up the Herald for himself. And we look at everything as it stands, back to the itemization. We have a Cutlass on this Renekton. He's building up for his Blade of Rune King as Herald's immediately actually summoned topside. And remember when we last saw that turret? Not even 1 plate had been taken. Come back a few seconds later with the Ziggs already hitting the turret. The turret's gone. That's the power of the Satchel Charge and a Rift Herald combined together. Ziggs is going to have a very big push, with the Hecarim also shadowing next to him. This turret's going to be taken very low here. Possibility of a Satchel Charge takedown coming through here. But the Gromp is being killed. No members of PSG were coming, so realistically, if there was a minion wave there for the Unicorns of Love, they could have taken the second turret of the game 9 minutes in. Now, obviously, in terms of playing League, there's a style. If a team makes a play one half of the map, you try and attack the other half of the map. So, because PSG attacked top half of the map, they get to go make a play bottom half. And what do you know? They get for themselves a 10-minute Infernal Drake. Obviously, next Drake will come up at 15 minutes, and then one at 20 if they take it on the dot of its summoning. So we could be looking at quite a late, I would say, Infernal Soul or whatever soul. It's going to be probably going to be Ocean. It's going to either be Ocean or Mountain Soul here, because of the first Drake was Infernal, second Drake's Cloud, so it's either going to be Mountain or Infernal, Mountain or Ocean Soul, sorry. Now, bottom half of the map, we could be seeing a possible turret dive here as Hecarim's charging in onto the center. She's dead, perfect engage there. The turret juggling to perfection from Unicorns of Love pick themselves up a kill onto the ADC of PSG, and we may see more as Hecarim and Bard hovering around here. They have full vision of Rakan, who's stepping quite forward here. The stun from Bard does not hit, so I don't think there's going to be any more kills. However, PSG is stepping forward here. Liliad's around, Rakan's around. Not going to go in though. They're going to play quite safe, and that is a good sign of things if you're them. Not giving over any more kills to this Ezreal, who picked up a kill off of that play onto the center. And quick check-in on items, as I was saying. Cutlass topside, building up a Blade of Rune King here for the Renekton. The other top laner for PSG, GP, has got his Sheen and his Phage. Probably going to maybe pick up the Stinger here if he's got enough. Obviously, he's just taken the Krugs. He's actually going to sell that corrupting potions that he has to buy the Trinity Force there and a Control Ward. So he's got a big power spike now, that GP, which has got to be very, very good for him. Obviously, with the Grasp, he's going to be gaining health here as Rakan shadowing the Orianna here, making sure this Hecarim and Bard cannot engage onto him. And Lily is coming down here as well. We could possibly see an engage here from PSG. Uh-oh. The Unicorns of Love, the team making play as Rakan's coming over the wall. The Quickness Lines and the Onslaught of Shadows is being used straight onto the center, but not going to get the kill. And Unicorns of Love are forced to retreat here as here comes Lilia. Going to slam down, pick up the kill, and get the first kill of the fight for herself. Though Ziggs manages to kill the bottom lane turret. And that is a fairly even trade in my opinion. Turret gold for essentially a kill. And what's more important is the Unicorns of Love have only got one turret left standing to take. So that means that they've taken 10 turret plates already in this matchup. That is huge, and you've got to give most of that credit to the Ziggs, who's been absolutely phenomenal in taking objectives as we watch this play again. So Hecarim comes through. Oh, hi Senna. Charges immediately, using Spirit Dread to heal up. Rakan comes in. Obviously the quickness is used, so using the Onslaught of Shadows kind of nullifies the quickness's charm, so he's essentially able to run away. Littling Lullaby though lands from the Lilia, getting the kill and giving some gold into the needed pockets of PSG. And it's more important, it's into the pockets of Lilia, who is going to be a very big late game carry for this PSG lineup. And she's going back to base here, maybe picking up a fully upgraded jungle item, or going for the Liandry's with that Haunting Geist picked up. That is kind of the big thing for a Lilia, is that Liandry's, because of the proc with her passive. Obviously she gets Sleepy Dust onto a target. It becomes very powerful because you can tick the damage over and over. As we look at the turret plates taken, 10 turret plates in total for Unicorns of Love. That is 1.6 gold gainage off that PSG did not get any of. 0 turret plates over to PSG, and you kind of have to be worried if you're a PSG fan here, as that gold lead keeps increasing as the Temper Fate goes wide onto the Ori, using that speed boost she gets, as we could see another engage here around this Cloud Drake, which is spawning in 2 seconds. I'd expect though PSG to give this up, probably go try and make a play towards that Rift Herald, which is spawned. Going to be quite an easy take if they go for it. And yeah, Unicorns of Love are going to get this Drake for free. They get their first Drake of the game, and it's Ocean Soul that these two teams are fighting for. That's a big soul to be going for in this game. Probably the best soul in the game. And realistically, you look at this soul and you look at the team. You see a Ezreal who's going to be firing out Mystic Socks left, right and center, because of the way that ability works. The cooldown is so low, every time you hit it, it's realistically very powerful. So with Ocean Soul, just to sustain with Mystic Shots is huge. As we see this Herald being contested maybe by this Lilia, and the Mega Inferno Bombs just going to dissuade PSG from going any further, and they retreat back to the mid-wave and possibly put a bit of damage onto that turret. Only the caster minions will do that. And the Herald goes over to the Unicorns of Love. The team that's looking to play the map gets to play map objective. And realistically, that's going to be very vital for this team, as you realistically are going to have trouble if you're PSG to keep up with this tempo that the Unicorns of Love are actually playing at. They're split pushing the map pretty early into the game. They've already started roaming pre-8 minutes. Ziggs has got to 2 lanes and killed their turrets. He hasn't killed his own turret yet in mid lane, and he's already TP'd to the mid lane. He's got his satchel charge primed. 1 top bop, 2 bops. Minions killing the turret enough for him to just go bop with that satchel charge after 2 auto attacks. It's a big champion here, this Ziggs, who maybe got out here. The grand entrance from Rakan comes through. Obviously the satchel charge was used to kill the turret, so Ziggs did not have that to get himself away from the engage from Rakan. And as a whole, nothing more comes from it though. And these two teams playing quite safe here, I would say, as Senna didn't want any part of that engage onto Rakan, onto the Ziggs, sorry, whereas Rakan just disengaged after he knew that Senna wasn't there, and Ziggs just killed turrets. He didn't want to keep going, pushing his luck, and what do you know? Top half of the map, we're seeing Hecarim invade. Hecarim and Bard are also top, and GP may be in a bit of trouble here, as Renekton is freezing the wave as little. He's going to try and freeze this outside of the turret range, and here we go. Here's the engage coming out from the Unicorns of Love onto this GP who's caught out, but the Rakan's already come up here. Dawn Shadows used over the top, and the Rakan just backs away, similarly with the Renekton, and Orianna is coming round. She's looking to engage onto the Unicorns of Love, looking for a perfect shockwave, which is ready and available for her. Unicorns of Love, though, gonna get out of it, disengaging from both sides. Just a load of damage done in that fight. Only a few summoners were burnt. Obviously, the flash on Renekton was used, the TP out of Ezreal, and the heal from Bard. Whereas on the PSG side of things, Kaiwing's flash and exhaust were used. Heal probably used by Senna in that fight. And that fight overall was just a load of summoners burnt for very little in terms of gain. And mid lane looking fairly nice. There's a bit of turret damage done here by PSG, even though they've lost their own. And you look at the turrets taken already, 3 turrets to none. You got to be worried if you're PSG right now, as you've got 0 map pressure on the board. And the big issue about turrets being taken is you lose control of your jungle in that area that the turret's gone, because you don't have that protection. Teams can just go round the back of that turret, get in and invade and kill you if you're pushed up way too far. And it's very hard to control the vision of an area that you think is yours, but in actual fact the enemies control more of it. Anyway, while I was rabbiting on there, we saw the Herald dropped in this top half of the map, and it's not going to get any turret plates. Obviously it would have timed out if it wasn't summoned there, so that is the reason why it's placed. And as for the rest of the things, we're going to be seeing a fight possibly in 6 seconds for this first Ocean Drake of the game, as we are seeing Ezreal put very low. Ricardo was also engaged onto by the Ziggs of Unicorns of Love. He's been chipped down quite low, though the center is there to top him up. And Unicorns of Love got early pressure around this Drake pit as the Temper Fate goes wide. And what we may see is GP, he's already got round him. GP and Rakan already in position. The barrel chain doing work here, keeping the Unicorns of Love back. The True Shot Barrage, though, does a lot of damage. So does Mega Inferno Bomb. And that is a very low health bar onto that center. As, we may see a kill onto GP, who has been caught out by this Hecarim. Just taking very low. The flash is being used, but the Onslaught of Shadows chasing him down to re-engage. Possibly coming out here from the Renekton. He's looking to chase down this PSG lineup, but nothing comes through. And the magical journey will not be taken by Renekton, who just can't get there in time. Though, with the GP dead, that does mean that the Unicorns of Love get their second Drake of the game, as the Ocean Soul beckons nearer for them. And that'll be huge if you're a actual Ziggs, Ezreal, Hecarim, Renekton and Bard, because you will absolutely adore the sustain that you gain from that soul. And as I say, Mystic Shocks are plenty from an Ezreal, just means that he's going to be healed up to full pretty much through the entire fight if he gets that soul. And looking at the gold as it stands, a 3.3k gold lead for Unicorns of Love, and that is huge considering it's a 1.6k gold lead they gain from turrets and turret plating. And you realistically think, well, how can PSG get back into this game? Honestly, if I am them, I'm probably going to be slowing the tempo down. You're going to have to try and keep vision on the Baron, which will make the sieging power of the Unicorns of Love, which is already phenomenal, just be 10 times as phenomenal. And realistically, you need to be very wary of where this Ziggs is at all times. You realistically need to shadow him if you're Unicorns of Love to keep him alive, because I'd expect PSG to be looking to pick him off, as he is the main threat on this Unicorns of Love side, and that's for split pushing the map as well as damage in team fights, because that Mega Inferno Bomb, if you get stunned up by this Renekton, by the Bard Temper Fate, it's very easy for him to land the ability and basically do tons of damage to you, making you very, very weak. And that's what we saw in that last fight around the Ocean Drake, is the Mega Inferno Bomb chunking the center, making it so that the PSG lineup cannot contest, as we may see a pick here around this turret by this Unicorns of Love. As Temper Fate lands, Mega Inferno Bomb will land, the Dawning Shadows shielding will not be enough, and that's a kill over to the Unicorns of Love. They also get the teleport out of the Orianna here, and this is just easy if the Unicorns of Love, as that satchel charge kills another turret, and they're pushing ever closer to beating this PSG lineup. And with the top lane dead, they're rotating round to Baron. It's 24 minutes in. I don't think they can actually do it with the jungler still available for PSG. Realistically, you'd expect them to just back away, get a bit of vision down in their jungle, and recall and get their items, because they haven't bought in a while, I don't think. And looking at items that have come through right now, Ziggs didn't even back just then. He's got himself a Luton's Echo. He's got his Spellbinder, which he's charging up to get the AP. As we look at that gold graph for this game, it's just a constant increase. It's up to 4.8k increase in advantage for the Unicorns of Love, which is going to be very hard for PSG to actually overcome. Because gold leads, you're probably wondering, what's the importance of a gold lead? Why do casters hype on about it? That essentially shows the item advantage that players have, the kill advantage that players have. It shows a lot about the stats of this game. And you look at this Ezreal in terms of items. He's got a kill, nothing more, nothing less. He's got himself a Trinity Force, which is 3k, and a Mer Mana, which he's upgraded from Mana Mune. That's about 2.7k, roughly around that, 2.5 maybe. That's a big item, as we could see another engage here onto GP. The Hecarim's onslaught of Shadowing through. The Cannon Barrage is going to do a lot of damage here, but it's not going to be enough. As re-engage coming in though from this Renekton, he's almost killed off here, and the Lilia is chasing down as Ziggs is being caught off by the side. The Orianna gets a shutdown gold onto the Ziggs, and there's another kill. Lilia picks up the kill, a shutdown onto the Hecarim, and Renekton may be the third casualty of this fight, as that's a double kill for the Ori. Bard's forced to run away as the magical journey will be used. Temper Fate, lovely use of that as well, means that he's going to be able to try and run away, but the Rakan grand entrance knocks him into the air, and Lilia picks up the second kill of the fight for herself, and that is going to be 4 kills over to this PSG lineup, and they're back into this game, though they are going to lose an inhibitor in the top lane, which Ezreal is going to take for his team. But with 4 members dead on Unicorns of Love, PSG running straight towards the Baron. They're starting this up here. Ezreal has spotted it. Blue Trinket has been used. This is dropping quite quickly as the TP is used by GP to get himself back into the fight. Ezreal's 2-shot barrage is just going to go wide. Mystic Shot goes wide. TP comes in from Ziggs. He's looking to try and contest this. Mega Inferno Bomb will not kill the Baron, and that's going to be Baron over to this Lilia's Smite. And PSG coming back into another fight here. They're chasing down onto this Ezreal. That's another shutdown for the Orianna. That's 3 shutdowns in this game for her. And GP picks up a second kill of that fight as Renekton TPs to his death. And Baron already giving 2.6k over to this PSG lineup, who's coming right back down to this Ocean Drake that's just spawned. They do not want to give this over to the Unicorns of Love, as that will give them soul point. And it's already been started by Hecarim, and he's disengaging off of it. GP taking a bit of damage from that Ziggs, who's also being forced back. And the Unicorns of Love disengage off of this Drake. PSG secure the area. They haven't secured the vision though, and that was narrowly not taken by the Ziggs satchel charges. The Ori is the one to actually take it, and the Smite I don't think was actually used by the Lilia. And yeah, they're playing this game a bit better now, PSG, as they've kind of caught up to the Unicorns of Love, and it'd be interesting to see that gold graph now as we watch this play again. Onslaught of Shadows use the dominance used by Renekton, as well as the Dawning Shadow and the Cannon Barrage. So trading and Volts there, getting the kill onto GP. And now it's just Orianna coming back into this fight. She picks up the kill onto Ziggs, who was isolated off to the side, flashing forward, double autos to kill off the Renekton. And look at the elated face of the PSG coach. His team bouncing back into this game, and that has got to be huge if you're a PSG fan as well. And this game is very insane. I would honestly say Unicorns of Love, if they lose this is going to be probably the biggest throw in Worlds play-in history. And I haven't seen too many play-in games that have been thrown this bad, let me tell you. If they do lose, obviously. But with the Baron timing out in 40 seconds and a 2.5k gold gain for PSG, evening out the Drake count is what's huge in my opinion right now. They've put themselves ever closer to the Ocean Soul, and they've got a lot of turret gold to take as well, as that's the first turret taken. The Grand Entrance from the Rakan is not going to net much, and the shielding onto the center there means that that Mega Inferno Bomb does absolutely nothing in terms of damage. And Unicorns of Love have got to be wondering, what do we have to do now? With the Baron obviously going into the back pockets of PSG, not much they can do, though they are looking for a pick onto the Orianna. She's just going to run away back to the center. True Shot Barrage narrowly misses as well, this Ori. So nothing really gained once again. Though the Rakan coming forward, trying to kill that Bard, is going to net a bit of damage onto him. But disengaging either side here. And we see Unicorns of Love setting up here. They could be looking to contest, maybe looking to fight. Bard, Temper Fate is going to land onto center as the re-engage coming in from PSG. Look at how low the Ziggs is. He's already been killed, taken out of this fight. And the Unicorns of Love just get destroyed in the PSG jungle. And Ori didn't even need to use that shockwave. And that is huge. And PSG gotta be feeling absolutely confident now. They feel this game is in their hands, and the gold lead has shrunk considerably. It was 4k, it's now down to 1k. Not even that, it's 900 gold, sorry. And that is huge. I'm shocked at how quickly this game has turned on its head. After one misplay from Unicorns of Love, giving over so much gold to this PSG lineup. It's evened up the items, it's evened up the map pressure, and you look across the board at everything as it stands. GP has his Trinity Force, Death Stance and Ghost Blade in comparison to the Blade of Rune King and the Black Cleaver, going for his Death Stance here to Renekton, and GP's got himself an advantage in the top lane. He's already ahead in items. Jungle is where the big difference is. Trinity Force plus jungle item and going for his Death Stance to Hecarim is, versus a Banshee's Veil, a Liandry's and jungle item on the Lilia. That is huge in terms of difference, and Lilia is probably the biggest threat on this PSG side, bar say the Orianna. And I was questioning the decision to go double AP in jungle and mid earlier in the game, as we could see another fight here. Lilia's walking forward, the Cannon Barrage is going to land. That is a great Grand Entrance. Dawn Shadow's used over top, and the first casualty of the fight comes through as it's Lilia picking up a kill. As we see in the bottom half, Lilia killing off this Renekton. He's going to get a bit of help from that Rakan. There we go. Senna gets a kill with that auto, and that is going to be an ace of PSG. Well, Unicorns of Love, sorry, and PSG possibly looking to end this game here. That would be huge. If they've turned this around, they're not stopping. They don't have the minion wave. It's only just hit this inhibitor line. And Unicorns of Love, you threw away this game, my friends. and PSG capitalizing on all of the mistakes. They're onto this in Nexus turrets. One getting stopped by the Tempered Fate means that it's going to be slowed, but it does not matter. PSG win this tiebreaker against the Unicorns of Love and advance to the World's Groups. And this was a demolition once they got the turnaround from the Unicorns of Love's early game destruction. Wow. This was a huge comeback if I'm PSG. Absolutely deserved, to be fair. And you look at this roster, you've got 3 players on this team that weren't even your players. That's phenomenal if your team's able to come back and start and do well as what PSG did. And it amazes me that they've done this well, because they've only had 2 weeks of practice to get this good. Whereas you look at the rest of the teams in player Aeons, they've been a lineup for all of this split. They've been performing phenomenally in terms of their regionals, as they've been probably the best teams in their leagues. As for PSG, they've not had the best runs in terms of their team, because they've kind of had to pick up their own roster, which is hard to do. It's hard to do with such little time to absolutely pick up and do well in Worlds. Against the best teams in the world, you've turned it around phenomenally, and you've got to congratulate PSG. Well done to the lads on that team. Well done to the coaching staff as well. And it amazes me to see how well this team has become. And that's what it's got to take, is pure training and work. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new around here if you want to. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.